This is the Rankler OG. I'm ranking things that oughtn't to be ranked, therefore rankling people. And today I'm rankling religions with of course a tier list because God forbid we do anything in an unconventional manner. So let's get whoop whoopsie daisy. Okay, so we're gonna start looking at some religions, and we're gonna rank them, kind of just how I see them. I think you know the drill. S is the good one. It's big. It's good. It's nice. A is good. It's nice, but not like S. It's like chef's kiss. B, it's okay, all right. Whatever. C, well, it just goes down from here, and well, everyone knows what F tier is because you don't F with F tier. That's for sure. That's for sure. Zoom out a little bit because we have a bunch of religions. We have Jesus. We have Pajama Man. We have other Pajama Man. We have Cube. Behind here, we have Peacock. I think there's Jew somewhere. We're talking about different religions. And if we're going to start with religions, why don't we start with the OG religion, aka the first religion, if you believe what is said about it? Hinduism. I think everyone's heard of Hinduism. They do not worship cows, actually. They revere cows because symbolically, cows have the milk that give you the juice that does what needs to be done. And they have lots of concepts such as reincarnation, uh, karma. I think everyone knows what karma is, which determines your reincarnation. After this video, I'll be reincarnated as a worm. I'm pretty sure. They have ahimsa, which is nonviolence. We'll get more into that later. They have different sects, really, within Hinduism, or rather, even different religions. Some of them are based around, Trimurtism, which is based on three gods: Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. Brahma, the creator; Shiva, the preserver; Vishnu, the preserver; Shiva, the destroyer and renewer. They also have one just dedicated to Vishnu, one's just dedicated to Shiva, one's just dedicated to the girls. They have the goddess one. There's a Vaita Vedanta. There's all sorts of Hinduism all over the place in the Indian subcontinent and in places settled by those from the Indian subcontinent and historically in Southeast Asia as well. I think the gods of Hinduism are incredibly based. I'm not going to lie. You have a god named Ganesha who has an elephant head. Why does he have an elephant head? His mom created him out of dirt to guard, him from, her husband while she's bathing, and her husband, Shiva, shoots his head off. And she has to replace it with an elephant head. Well, that's pretty based. And you pray for money. Yeah, I think Hinduism is an S tier religion. I have some compunctions about the Hindutva movement. I think it betrays what Hinduism is supposed to stand for, but what religion doesn't betray what it stands for in point of fact? I think just by virtue of blue, arm gods, elephant deities, that's based. I think Hinduism is an easy S tier. Okay, next religion, we have Judaism, represented by this menorah. Judaism is a funny case. They say they're the oldest religion. They're not. Actually, they're way younger than most people realize. Judaism most likely arose kind of during the Persian period and during the Hellenistic period as a response to, foreigners coming into the land. They wanted to distinguish themselves and invent a mythology for themselves, and they kind of adopt Greek philosophy for the one. They attach their tribal deity Yahweh to the one. So now he's the one Yahweh. And there's all sorts of laws because they're copying Greek ideas about this mythical founder who has their laws. Instead of it being like Kyrgyz or Solon, we have Moses, who was a fictional character. Judaism has, its own holidays. It's kind of the root of the Abrahamic traditions like Christianity, Islam, the Baha'i boys. Judaism, leaving aside what Israel is doing, which is not nice, to say the least. Judaism and them. Yeah, well, I mean, like they've been persecuted and weak for such a long time. People think, oh well, we're going to let them have power, and then they end up being as bad as the other Abrahamic religions. And I think you're kind of going to notice a theme about that. But that being said, they're as bad as the other Abrahamic religions, but not quite really as bad as the other Abrahamic religions. I'll put them in detail for damn those stinking Zionists. Next religion. Let's get something a little bit more interesting. Okay, we have Wicca. So Wicca is an invention of the 19th century of the pagan occult, let's say, and they create a religion, a pagan religion, around the idea that there's this goddess who's foundational to human society. They're unoffensive. They're cute. They're cute witches. I don't really have any particular problem with Wicca. I just kind of find them cute and unoffensive. So I'll say C. We all come from the goddess, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain. Now we have Sikhism. There's a lot more Sikhs actually in the world than Jews, yet they always talk about Jews like they're a major religion, more important religion than Sikhism, because all the Sikhs live in India. And a little known fact, I actually was interested in becoming a Sikh, not because of their beliefs particularly, because I actually think their beliefs are quite not interesting, not particularly interesting, but their drip. Oh my God, the Sikh drip, the turban and the beard and the little dagger and oh my God. If it was just for aesthetics, the Sikhs would be up on S tier. They'll have a culture of like defending the ethnic minorities in the Indian subcontinent when it was under the Mughal occupation. That's pretty cool. And they killed Indira Gandhi, so they have that going for them. Yeah, they're a little bit imperialist, and they served the British. They served whatever empire came in as well later on because they made good mercenaries. They have a martial culture. I'm going to put the Sikhs. I'm tempted to put, I'll put them ahead. They're better drip than the Wiccans. They're more stylish, even though their religion, I think, is relatively innocuous and boring apart from the martial qualities. It's just kind of generically monotheist, but with some dharmic influence. It just happens to have more followers and it's connected to Punjabi identity. So that's kind of why it's a big deal. This one is a symbol I chose to represent Afro-Caribbean religions or traditional African and Caribbean religions, Vodun, Voodoo, Hoodoo, Santeria, that kind of business. The traditional religions of Africa and their forms that they syncretize kind of with Catholicism, with the Loas, like you have in Haiti, Baron Samedi, the different nations of gods. That's really cool. I think it's really based. There's a strong magical tradition. No, it's not all evil. It's not voodoo dolls. It's one of the most misunderstood religions in the world. It's about order. You supplicate the deities with sacrifice, just like in other traditional polytheistic religions. There's a lot of dance, a lot of music. It's it's deeply connected to African culture. So yeah, I think it's based. I would definitely put African traditional religion up there with Hinduism. It's very based. Yeah. Okay. We have Zoroastrianism, the pajama man over here. Do 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 da 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 da. The world's first monotheism religion, in quotes. They weren't actually monotheist. There's two all-powerful deities that are battling each other, the good one and the evil one. The good one makes something good, the evil one makes something evil. The evil one makes something evil, the good one makes it. It balances out. Like, yeah, fire is good and, shit is evil or something. Light is good and darkness is evil. That kind of Manichaean kind of vibe. And they have all sorts of devas, which are and aharas, the good and evil deities that are under their main deities. They have fire temples. That's cool. But a lot of surprising amount of persecution actually with those old mobeds against religious minorities in the Sassanid Empire. So the idea that they're somehow the most tolerant religion and suddenly the world became less tolerant when the Zoroastrians were snuffed out, it's a little bit of a flawed ideal, I would say, an exaggerated idea. Zoroastrians were very noted for persecuting like the Mazdakites, the Manichaeans, etc., the religions that came from their tradition under them. But they're not like a proselytizing religion. They don't, encourage people to follow them. The other thing I kind of think is unbased or kind of shitty about Zoroastrianism is that they have been used rhetorically against, the modern state of Iran by Israel. Oh, you should support the monarchy. You should support Iranian culture by supporting Zoroastrianism and being against Islam in this prejudicial way. I don't really care for that so much. But still, Zoroastrianism is really cool. It's a small religion, but a big influence on history. I'm going to put Zarathustra over here by the Guru Nanak, by the Khalsa, Okay, well, here's the big controversial one on the list. Jesus, for Christianity. It's a fractious people if there ever was one. For every flavor of Skittles, you have 10 styles of Christianity. All think they're the right one, and all the other ones are going to burn it. Well, at least they used to. But I think Jesus is pretty based. Love your neighbor, turn the other cheek, yet going into the temple and whipping people with like his belt, whamp, whamp, for changing money in the temple. Of course, Christianity, as we know it today, is so fundamentally corrupted from anything that has to do with Jesus. How early that happened, that's up to debate. Is it from Paul? Is it from Constantine? Is it just the natural corruption inherent in human nature? A great quote by Nietzsche is the last true Christian died on the cross, and Christianity has many cool aspects like the music, the arts, all that good stuff.